Sometimes people who aren't pet parents would be like, why are you so sad about that? They just don't understand. But truly, these pets are a part of our family and they are with us for years and years and years. And overnight they're gone, and it is traumatic. Welcome to Life Unleashed,
the podcast all about creating the best life for you and your furry best friend.
If you're a dog mom on the go, juggling life, work, and the endless joys of being a dog parent, then you're in the right place. I'm Dani.
And I'm Nick.
And together with the incredible dog mom community from Tails Up Pup, we're here to share advice, stories, and the obsession we have over the love for our dogs.
Get ready to laugh, learn, and lean on each other because life with your dog just got even more awesome.
Hello and welcome back. I thought we should start it off with some life updates, what's been going on. I feel like I have a lot of different things in my brain and I should have written them down because now I don't know where to start. But the first thing that caught my eye were the plants that are behind me, and constantly I'm getting messages like, how do you do it all? You know, you're working, you're being a mom, and you have so much energy. I always feel like that comment is not me at all. I don't feel like I have a lot of energy, but
you do have a lot of energy. What are you talking about?
I think when I think energy, I think of like hyper people, and I'm definitely not that.
You're not hyper, but you are like just a constant. You move constantly. You never have breaks. I
definitely get that from my mom. My mom never just hangs out at home. She always wants to be doing something. I like hanging out at home, but I think what pushes me and like I don't feel like I'm the Energizer Bunny is because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So like I enjoy my work and I enjoy being a mom. So those two things bring me joy, which I don't feel like I'm constantly like, you know, having to do.
Your battery's not getting as drained by those things.
Yeah, I feel like it's not as draining because it's like filling my cup at the same time. But I saw these plants and I was like, you know what has taken the back burner? All of my house plants. Like, they're looking sad. I should have plucked the dead ones off of here, but they're just chilling in the background.
I think that's normal though. I think it goes through that life cycle of like the leaves grow and then they die on that
It's
plant.
normal if you don't water them.
We water them. I water them.
Not enough. Definitely not enough. They definitely get forgotten.
I water them like once a week.
Oh, and also the other day we were talking to someone new and they were like, oh, you waited a while to have children, which is interesting because I feel like everyone has a different perspective. We waited like 6 years. Our plan was 5 years. We waited a little bit longer, but I was like, our business was our first baby first. So that is why we waited. But now I'm like, you know, I do spread myself thin too much and there are things that get forgotten, like my sad plants.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're comparing the plants to the baby, you know, the baby's got to take priority.
Yes, exactly. And my priorities are straight. So
that is true. Yeah, no, but you're not a hyperactive person, but you do have lots of energy.
That's interesting. I don't think of myself as that way.
Danielle is also the type of person that springs out of bed in the morning and she can immediately start having full-blown conversations. And then, like, if I'm not on that same level, which normally I'm not, she's like, why are you in such a bad mood?
That was us this morning.
And I'm literally like, I just got up. Like,
yeah, I am a morning person, but try talking to me at 9:00 at night and I cannot hang. Like, I am going to bed.
I'll literally be like, love you, Dani. And she like can't even say it back because she's so sleepy.
We'll say it before we get in bed.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be as I'm falling asleep.
It's the last thing I'm going to say to you before we both
I guess
drift
that's
off.
normal, but
I'm like, love you. And Danielle's just over here like,
I'm like, I've hit my wall.
Yeah, you have no energy to say it.
No.
So funny.
Also, today is very exciting because I guess this goes hand in hand. Y'all think I do everything and I don't have help. And for a while we didn't, but we have hired help. And today is our girl's first day on the job. So she's coming after we film this podcast. So that is very...
But you need to clarify that. You make it sound like we have like... Tails Up Pup hired an employee is what you're making it sound like.
No, yeah. So we hired a girl to come and watch Callan just for 2 hours a day for 2 days a week, which is basically what his school's going to be longer than that. But he's going to school in the fall on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so we were like, let's get a feel for what we're about to have. And he still naps in the morning. So she's going to come after his nap and hang out with him for 2 hours. And we are going to be able to get uninterrupted work done. And so Nick's cousin has come a few times and also done this. And I have learned that I cannot be seen by Callan or he wants to be with me. So I'm just going to have to stay in the basement and not come upstairs.
Yeah, we might need to eat lunch early so that like when she gets here, we show her around and then we can like.
That was my problem with Christina is that I did not eat my lunch. I came up for lunch and Callan lost it. So also
well, he doesn't lose. He only loses it when you leave again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, we were like, it will be nice to be able to like film this podcast and not have to worry about him. But right now we are going to work on things out of sight so he does not have to deal with us, and then we can figure out as we go. Like today it's raining, so they can't even really go outside, so they're gonna have to be like in the playroom and stuff. So we're gonna figure it out as we go, but I'm very excited to have some extra hands on deck. And
it really does make a big difference because like right now in the absolute best case scenario, Callan sleeps 2-2-hour naps, but like when you think about it, like there's this switching time between tasks. So like we don't really get the full chunk of 2 hours. It's like you stop doing what you're doing, you come up, you nurse him and you put him down, and then you have to go like pick up back where you left off, and that just takes a little bit of time, whatever. And you're like, well, maybe now you're upstairs, you get a snack, and like Danielle's brain is the type of person like she's like, maybe I should do the laundry right now. So it's like I feel like you maybe get an hour and a half in the best case scenario of uninterrupted work each nap period. So that's like, say that's only 3 hours of uninterrupted work a day. That's not that much work. And that's like in the best case scenario. Like a lot of times Callan is not taking the full 2 hours.
If you are a mom or a new mom or going to be a mom, I saw a video that talked about not doing chores while your baby is sleeping, and I started to shift what I do, and I feel like that has helped a lot because I was someone who was like, when my baby's awake, we're just going to play. And when he goes to sleep, that's when I'm going to do all the things I need to do. And that just isn't realistic. I feel like and there's some things that you can't do this way. But for the most part, I try to do a lot of things while he's awake. Like he can come in the laundry room and I can do a new load of laundry while he's awake. I don't need to wait till he's asleep to do that. It's also a great activity for him. He sees me doing something else. He wants to be involved. And especially for me, I was like, I would rather go to the grocery store while he's napping, put him down, have him sleep. Nick will just watch the monitor and I'll go to the grocery store. Now I've completely shifted. I do think it's different as they get older though.
Yeah, that's true.
But now that's for sure an activity that I'm taking him while he's awake to do because it's something to do. Like it is hard to find activities in the house to do for 2 hours or 3 hours. Now his wake windows are getting longer.
Well, I think he gets that whole he starts getting really fussy and you're trying to do whatever you can. It's like, what he really needs is a change of scenery.
Yeah, change of scenery, stimulation. He likes seeing other people. So taking him to the store has actually been a good thing for us.
Yeah. And when it's raining outside, it's like you can't go outside in the rain. So you pretty much are like store or at home.
Yeah, he loves going outside, so that's a good thing. He
does like watching the rain.
He does, yeah. We'll sit on the porch and watch the rain, but I'm excited for him to walk because then he'll really be able to play outside. I feel like there's a lot of things he can't really do outside because you can't crawl on the concrete. You can't, I don't know. It's just going to be more fun when he can run around.
Even in the store, that'll be nice. I mean, yes, he can escape you, but at the same time, it's like you can kind of just let him run around and follow him.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons. A lot of people, I really don't know why people, they're always like, get ready for whatever stage is coming next, or get ready for them to crawl. It's going to be crazy for you. You're not going to like it. And we hear that all the time with the walking. I personally have liked every stage more and more. I like that he can crawl. Yes, you have to be more vigilant. And yes, they can get into a lot more stuff. And I'm sure walking's going to even be more that way. But I think it's also a lot more fun.
Yeah, he's really fun. He's curious. It's so cool to watch his brain work and see how interested he is in things. And he wants to learn how things work and what to do with them. I feel like it's just so fun as he's gotten older, how interactive he is. Because I'm going to see my family next week, I'm like, Callan is so much more fun than that he was at Christmas because he was basically a blob then, and now he is so fun.
Yeah, now he really is starting to get more of a personality, which is definitely cool.
My other life update, which is the sad thing, but I wanted to talk about this because we can all either relate to this or we will relate to this at some point, but we did lose our family dog this week, and it has been very sad going through the loss of
Danielle's family's dog,
Yes.
not our immediate.
not Holly,
not
and,
Holly
Gracie.
and Gracie.
My family's dog. So I feel like it's so sad when you lose a dog or pet, or obviously anyone, but these animals are a part of our family. They become, they go on vacations with us. We do all these things and we celebrate their birthdays, and then eventually they pass, and it's so sad. Like, they are a part of our life, but we are their whole life, and it is
Oh my
so
gosh.
sad. How many years did she live? I think 15, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great life for a dog.
Danielle was 15 years old.
So-
think about that.
Here's the story. Her name was Harley. So my stepdad, he was not my stepdad at the time. My parents were just dating. So they were dating. He wanted to propose. My mom wanted a Westie because we grew up with a Westie. So she wanted another Westie, and her boyfriend, Keith, wanted a German Shepherd. And so he found I'm pretty sure it was like the newspaper, he found that there was a rescue that had, probably not the newspaper, he probably had to look online.
Who knows?
He found the perfect dog because it was a Westie German Shepherd mix. The perfect dog. And he said, what better way to propose than to get this dream dog of ours, tie a ring around her neck, have her walk into Thanksgiving, and I will propose. I mean, it was the perfect situation.
That is a great idea.
A dream for any woman, I feel like, to get proposed to, let alone with your perfect combined dog. So it actually didn't end up being a super surprise. Nothing is a surprise for my mom. She is type A. She needs to know everything. So he ends up telling her that we're getting this dog before he proposes. And we as a family went because he wanted to make sure that the dog was going to fit in with the family. It was going to be a good, you can't just kind of spring a dog on someone.
Yeah.
So we all loaded up in the car. We drove, I don't know where. I think maybe it was definitely a different state, a few hours away.
Wow.
We show up, we see this dog. This dog is for sure coming home with us. Like, we wanted a dog
Immediately
so bad.
you.
Yes. But I'm like, you got lied to because this is not a Westie. I didn't know much about German
It was not a
Shepherds.
Westie, nor was it a German Shepherd in any capacity.
She is
Mix.
the true example of a mutt.
I would say she's a hound dog beagle.
She doesn't look like a beagle, though, really.
No, but the mix between like
She
a
is
hound
a
dog.
hound dog mutt mix. Nothing of a West Highland Terrier or a German Shepherd. But we were bringing her home, so she came home. But
I could see German Shepherd maybe far back in her lineage. Zero Westie.
we
Zero.
never did one of those DNA tests. We should have done one of those. It would have
Yeah.
been interesting to see and to prove him wrong. That say this dog was not.
Does
what
he
thought.
still think it was?
No, he knows.
Okay.
I mean, he's not that stupid. But you can look at this dog and just know it is not. It is definitely not a West Highland Terrier. So he did end up proposing with the dog, though, and my mom was very excited. And she has been in our family ever since. And so it's just very sad that she's gone now.
And what's even like maybe more sad about it is like, I guess kind of the dog was gotten around like this very special moment and time, in their relationship and your life and everything.
And our families blending together.
Right. So it's kind of like that was like at the very beginning of that. And so there's even more emotion tied up in Harley.
My mom has been saying that Harley was going to pass for years. She has declined.
At least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, she has been declining in her health for a very long time, but then she would bounce back and have puppy energy and be doing great. And so, to my knowledge, this is the first time that my family has ever had to put a dog down. I'm pretty sure every
the other
other dog has
Died
had
naturally.
or to unforeseen circumstances.
Oh, gosh.
Like cars. Yeah.
Oh, Danny, that's so sad.
Yeah. So I don't know that my mom has ever had to do that. And so she was struggling a lot with this because she just said it was very traumatic for her to have to go and do that. And I think that would be really hard. I don't know. I hope I don't have to do that. I told Nick, I'm like, I just hope our dogs just pass in their sleep. That would be the ideal situation. So, and especially if they've lived 15 years and like we know they've had a good life, like if they just died now, like I think I would be even more distraught because it's so unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that goes for, people too. It's like, when you have your grandparent that's like 100 years old, it's still really sad when they die, but it's like you know that it's getting to be their time.
Yeah.
Versus like if your parent dies and they're like 50 or 60, it's like, oh, wow, that was unexpected. And that is probably a lot harder.
I think I will be the most distraught with our 2 dogs because this is the first time that I've had like my own dog. I've done everything for them and like they truly are like a child to me. And so I don't know how I'm going to feel and what is going to happen because I've never probably felt anything like that before.
Yeah, that's going to be, and I mean, hopefully they live longer, and that's going to be the first. I remember, like, the first dog that Callan was going to remember and is going to pass away. I remember, like, probably around 9 or 10 years old, our first family dog passing when I was that age, and it was, like, so sad. Like, it's a little traumatic for a kid.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, my, like, that's one of your, probably was my first experience with death. I feel like some people have that happen with their grandparents, but my grandparents died later on, or the ones that had died before I was born, and then the other ones lived later. And so I hadn't really experienced any death in my life, and like the family dog was the first one, and I remember that being really sad.
Yeah, I bet that would be really sad.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a good kind of like lesson, and it taught me a lot as a young kid. Like this is what happens, and like you got to experience that. But I still have such good memories of that dog.
You grew up in a family that always had multiple dogs.
We always had at least 2.
Yeah, I grew up in a family that always had 1 dog.
We had Buffy and BB.
Buffy and BB, those were your first dogs?
Yeah, first dogs. Buffy was the first one, and then I remember actually, when I came into this world when I was born, they just had Buffy. BB came when I was alive, and I actually remember getting BB. BB was a stray dog that just was lurking around our neighborhood for probably a year or 2, and like no one could capture him. And so like everybody, I guess, just kind of like pitched in and would feed him and stuff. Who knows how he was surviving? But eventually, my sister and I we're probably like 5 or something like that, and we're like, we want BB, And so my mom was like, well, we'll just see, he's a stray. We'll see if and we started feeding him, and he started coming around more. And
so then he came into your house.
He eventually came into our house. We gave him a bath, and he was like, he basically stayed. But did
he ever wander away?
Oh yeah. Like he had his ways. He wasn't going to be a house dog like all the time. So like he would go, we let him outside. He'd go for literally like hours. Sometimes like he wouldn't come back at all that night, but that was what he did. He would go to our neighbor's house, and he just did all his things.
So did
we would take him to the vet, and like he would still come in our house and be like in our house, but like he didn't want to like stop being a free range dog.
Did he wanted to do his own thing. Or did he run away?
No, he passed away. He lived, Dani, probably to like 23 or 24 years old.
What did he look like? I always
this is so sad, but it was what we had to do. So we moved when I was probably in like 5th or 6th grade. So I think he was older when we got him. But when we moved, we couldn't take him away from his neighborhood. And he loved our neighbor's dog so much that he ended up staying with our neighbors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it was like he had been, around this neighborhood for so long, and you're not going to take him to a new place, and we felt like bad to do that. And so like he already spent a lot of time over at my neighbor's house anyway, so we're like, you know what, because actually the reason he did is their dogs were outside dogs, and they had like a heat lamp in their garage that like they let their dogs sleep under. So he would always go, and they would always say, yeah, BB always sleeps over here.
Did you ever go back and visit BB?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
As the outsider, I always hear about Buffy being like the dog of your whole family.
Buffy was.
I never hear about BB.
Yeah, BB has his whole.
That's because BB had multiple families.
And he was one-eyed. When we got him, his eye had been scratched out by a cat.
Aww.
Yeah, but it wasn't gone. It like had like clouded over.
Ugh.
Yeah. But that's like that was during his stray days. The vet said we didn't have to take it. It was fine, but he was blind in that eye.
one of Nick's parents' cats also only has one eye. It got a thorn in it, and it was so bad they had to remove the eye.
That was also a stray my mom rescued.
Yeah, your mom rescues all the animals.
Yeah.
She always has a lot of animals.
She does. Now it's absurd. It's crazy. She has so many animals.
Yeah, didn't you rescued Amore too?
Amore, yeah. We'd rescued Amore. That was one of those, she had a hard life. It is really interesting how some of that stuff, like trauma, sticks with dogs.
Yeah. Did you know there's a dog right now that's become very famous on TikTok? His name is Tiki.
Tiki.
And so this girl, she fosters dogs, and she posted about Tiki, and like all these famous people like saw the video, like Kylie Kelsey and I don't know, all these people, they were commenting, they were rooting for Tiki. Tiki looked like very not good.
Mangy.
Yeah, and wouldn't even come near the girl. Very traumatized. Tiki came from Hawaii, and she didn't share, like, I don't know if she knows but she didn't share like where this dog came from specifically and what had happened to him. But she's sharing like her story with him, and he has overcome so much.
Like he's happy now and trusting.
He's coming near her. He'll willingly come up to her and want to be pet, and he's playing with her dog. And it's just crazy that the trauma does stick with them. I think he'll always be hesitant, but he has learned that not every person is bad, and he's starting to trust.
That was definitely like Amore. Like Amore took some time, but you know, she over time, like she totally integrated with our family, and like she started playing again and stuff like that. But you could tell, like, who knows what had been done to her, but like she was afraid of people.
I cannot comprehend someone who treats a dog bad. Like,
no.
How can anyone do that?
Not even just a dog, like any animal.
Yeah. Or any person.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that too. But it's like, yeah, it is cool to see people that, you know, when you rehabilitate, it's like like you said, the trauma's probably still there, but like you can tell like it's made a big difference in their life.
Yeah.
We always thought it's like with Amore, it's like, wow, like we felt that like, you know, God put her in our life, you know, for like to, you know, give her a good life after whatever she had been through.
Fostering really takes a special person, because this girl has become basically famous. She already had a following, but she's gotten a huge following because of Tiki. Everyone keeps telling her she needs to keep Tiki, but she posted about why she's not going to keep Tiki, and like that this is the whole purpose of fostering is to
find a home, and so she can get another
dog. She can't
dog.
keep everyone.
Right.
And it's same thing with people who foster kids. It's like, I'm sure they have a desire to keep a lot of those kids, but the whole purpose is to.
But if you keep every kid, then eventually you can't keep fostering.
Right. And that's not the point of fostering. And she did a good job explaining it, but it was like, she was like, you know, I understand why you guys want me to keep this dog, but that's not the purpose of what I'm doing. And I think that was really important for her to share, because she has this platform now, and I feel like it shows to everyone what fostering is and why people do it.
You know, I saw a different dog on social media. You might have seen it. It's like, I don't know where it is, but like it's a ton of dogs, and I don't know if it's like a fostering place, or I don't think it's a daycare, but like these dogs are kind of like fighting each other or whatever. And then this alpha dog comes in or whatever. And like, you would not believe what the alpha dog looks like.
Really?
It's like this like relatively small, like kind of mangy little white dog. And like it passes like a King Corso. Is that what they're called?
King Corso.
Yeah. Whatever. Those giant, scary
Yeah.
looking dogs. I'm sure they're very sweet dogs, but like, pass it, and the Corso bows to this dog, and the other dog comes right up to it and like basically like gets on his back or whatever, and this dog breaks up the other dog fight that's going on, and like every other dog listens to this dog.
It's so interesting how they can declare their dominance.
Yeah, it is crazy. And what was even more nuts is apparently later on, a new dog came into the pack and was fighting this dog for dominance and attacked the dog maybe in its sleep or something, and like hurt its paw. And then the other dogs like saw that happen, came and like was, oh, what's going on? And they went and did retribution on the dog that hurt their king.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It is very interesting, like in the, you know, animal world, dogs. I think I think a lot of animals have like a dominance hierarchy like that, how that all operates.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Like this one dog that's not even like definitely the biggest or strongest kept every other dog in line. And like
bees are very interesting that they have their queen.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, all these worker bees serve the queen.
Yeah.
I think chimpanzees and monkeys really have like a dominance hierarchy and how that works.
Do you think bees like know each other differently than like when we look at a hive of bees, they all look the same to us? Do they look the same to each other, or do they look different to each other?
I'm sure they probably look different, but you've heard of like the hive mind. Like
no.
Bees and ants, they have like this like more of like a hive mind. I think it's not as much about like the individual and it's more about the collective. They almost operate as like one giant mind versus like all these separate little minds. And I think that's how they cooperate so well. Like if you've ever seen like ants like moving an obstacle out of their way and stuff like that, the teamwork is unbelievable, and that's why they say it's like a hive mind, because they're working together literally as if it's one mission, and it's like they don't have like their own separate wills. You don't have an ant that'd be like, I'm not feeling it today, and they all work together.
Do you think ants get tired like after they lift that heavy thing?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like insects are like a little bit different than, probably everything gets tired. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is really sad too about getting back to Harley. It's like, because we live far away, it's like, man, you never know when the last time you're going to see your family dog.
Yeah.
That happened like with our family dogs too.
And I'm literally going next week.
I know.
It's going to be so weird now that she's gone.
Yeah.
And my fear was that, so Harley was our family dog. I ended up getting a dog right when I started college, but because I was living at home and then I went to college, then I was like, you know what? This dog has to stay here. I can't like bring it to college. And then that dog ended up loving Harley. So she stayed there ever since. But now I am worried about Nala because she's never, ever been on her own.
Yeah.
She's lived with now, what is it? At least 10 years.
Yeah.
So she's lived with Harley for 10 years and now she's all overnight, all by herself. I'm not sure she's going to do well.
Yeah, it is very interesting. You can tell some dogs that are really close, like they get heartbreak.
Yeah.
Just like people do.
So I am worried about that. I feel like I don't have any advice for, losing a pet because it's just something we all just deal with differently. But I guess the purpose of this podcast and talking about is just like that we all go through it at some point and it's okay to be sad. I feel like sometimes people who aren't pet parents would be like, why are you so sad about that? They just don't understand. But truly, these pets are a part of our family and they are with us for years and years and years. And overnight they're gone and it is traumatic.
Yeah, I mean you get attached and they become part of your family.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what, people out there that don't get that, that's
and my
fine,
mom is at the age of, she's 60. She's like, I'm not getting another dog because if it lives close to 20 years, she'll be 80 years old and she just doesn't want to, she knows that she wouldn't give the dog its best life. So she's just, this is the end for them, which is even probably more sad for them because they know that was their last dog. Now they have Nala, but after that, they're going to have an empty
I feel
house.
like we're going to be the family that like will be 100 years old with the dog.
Yeah.
The dog will outlive us.
I just don't see myself not having a dog, but I don't know. I guess we'll see as we age what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you've ever like lost a pet, we are so sorry. And, it's sometimes nice to have some type of memorabilia. I feel like your mom like gets a painting of them to hang in her house.
Yeah, but my mom does the paintings.
That's really special. So you can have them to always see as you like walk by and always have that memory and you can think of all the good times you've had.
You never will be sad you took all those pictures.
That is true. See you guys next time.
Bye.